Hello, guys. My name is Dimple Grace, if you can't pronounce it, and I'm here with Silas. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Dimple. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. Just dwindling away in cold London, but thank you for joining us, for availing yourself, and for even offering up the knowledge that you have. I know it's greatly appreciated by people out there starting out or at whatever process they're at. So I just have a few questions to ask you about your experiences and kind of in hindsight what you would tell yourself or others. But before that, let me just explain about who we are. So we're a live legal studio and we are a consulting firm offering legal representation on an ad hoc basis. That's really our standout position. Ad hoc meaning you don't have to be with us for a year on retainer. So on retainers, usually when you have like a team of lawyers that you pay for a year to do everything and everything, we
Yeah.
understand that artists, performers, entertainers, creatives sometimes just can't afford to have legal representation on retainer. So
Mm,
sometimes it's on a needs basis when you feel
true.
like you need assistance. And our particular target group is people that are songwriters, composers, really people that are on the come up, people that are really focused to the work, and who are local to the work, especially when we look at house, we look at Amapiano, Guaido, deep house. Obviously, I would say as a South African, it comes from South Africa, I might be biased. Um, and we've seen an increase in the past few years of our music and our culture just dominating the world. But I think what we have noticed is as much as there's been domination, the fruits of people's works are not being distributed equally and fairly. So that's where we want to come in and help. It's more of like an ode to our love for our culture and for music. That's why we really started this. So hopefully that kind of gives you a flavor about who we are.
Definitely, definitely. I think I really do get the what it is that you guys do, and that's actually great because there's a lot of artists out there that actually don't have like the possibilities of having lawyers, for example, that can actually help out when it's in regard of like contracts or anything like that. And those are the little things that are really really needed, in terms of actually starting out the process of being an artist and artist development as well. So those are part of the things that are really really important, and shout outs to you guys for actually doing that. I think that's absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
And yeah, man, thank you so much for actually reaching out to me. This is actually an honor.
No, man. I think you should also plug your friend Lissady. He put you on. So Lissady, shout out you.
Hey, shout out to Lisady as
Real
well. Shout out to
one.
Lisady. Definitely. Shout out to Lisady as well.
Exactly. I think you actually just let's start with an easy question, which you kind of
Yeah.
touched upon. Maybe just tell us how your love for everything music came about and when you decided or when you knew like this is something I want to pursue
Yeah.
seriously as a career.
Right. So when I started music, it was like at a very young age. I started singing. I think it's like the typical
But
storyline of every musician, started at church and, started at school as well, singing at school, singing at church. And pursuing it was actually, I think it was inevitable when I started singing that I was going to actually pursue this thing. And
yeah,
everybody knew that, okay, no, he's set of actually doing this for the rest of his life.
yeah,
Well, I think when I started actually pursuing it for real was when I think it was 2018. In 2018, that's when I started actually really pursuing it and actually like really kind of delving into what the entertainment industry is about and finding my own voice in everything else.
yeah.
So that was the most important thing of finding my own unique sound, and that's basically it. That's how everything else started, and that's where I still am now, and I think I'm forever gonna do music. So so
That's
yeah.
I mean, I think music is one of those things. It's a vocation, which is kind of like legal speak to say it's a calling, right? So
Yeah,
there are, I think, a few professions in life where you feel called to do it, either, innately by supernatural powers, or if you're religious, unlike other
yeah,
things where you learn to, work the trade. I think
yeah,
music, being an artist, is one of those things that it really has to be a calling. And I always tell people, just because you can sing does not mean you should be a singer,
yeah.
because in the long run, the talent can only take you so far. You really have to be
Exactly.
all in, even when it's not fun.
Exactly. I think, it's just like having to find when you just have to find, when you find like work
Hmm.
and you actually find a 9 to 5 and you actually have to learn the disciplines of what a 9 to 5 entails. It's
Yeah,
also the same thing with music. It's also the same thing with everything else.
yeah,
And when you have the discipline and when you put in the effort and the work, because 80% of the music thing is the business side of it, and 20% is the talent. So I mean, the talent, like you said, it can only take you to a certain extent, but most of the like everything else is the business side of things. So you need to learn the discipline and have to actually have the discipline to actually like carry everything out. So that's the most important thing.
I agree. And just before we move on, you were saying that you had to find your distinct sound, and it's so crazy because now that I've heard your voice, and I love when you put on like your WhatsApp stories, what you're recording. And I said this the other day, that your voice is like, it's amazing, but I didn't even realize how many songs you've been on that I know. But now when I hear songs, I automatically know when it's your voice. It's just instinctual. And your voice is I'm not a very religious person, but it's very like outwardly. It's not worldly, if I put it that way. You were put on this earth for that is your purpose. Your voice is no one else can replicate that. So I hope that
You.
encourages you to keep going, because oh my gosh, you're so talented.
Thank
It's
you. Thank you so.
almost unfair how good you are naturally, and you're not even at the stage where I think you can be, and you have so much talent. So just think of how much further you can get with the talent that you have, and
Yeah.
just outlook on life. So honestly, like, I would not be being an authentic person if I don't tell you that I think you're absolutely talented.
Thank you so much. That is so humbling. Like I'm so humbled. I'm so honored. Thank you so much. And I think, having to actually even find my own unique sound came from the fact that, back in the days people used to call me Rihanna because I used to sing a lot of Rihanna songs. So
Yeah,
I used to sing a lot of Rihanna. And
same.
that's
I'm a Riri fan through and through.
hey, oh,
Every day, all day.
so it was kind of that thing where I used to sing a lot of Rihanna, listen to a lot of Rihanna songs. And so I used to emulate and imitate her voice. And so when people used to like hear me, they would be like, no, but you sound like Rihanna. And that was something that I was like, no, I need to actually find my voice. I need
Yeah.
to like anybody else. I need to sound like myself, so that, like you say, instinctively it just snaps that, oh flip, okay, this is Silas. So that's exactly what I actually like want people to actually resonate with when it comes to my voice. But people are calling me AI now. I'm just like, guys.
Oh gosh. I mean, that's a whole nother topic that we can get into in terms of the landscape of AI and the music industry in SA, and the lack of, or unconventional, I think, legislation about it, because it's just a new area that everyone's learning about. So it is a bit
Exactly.
of that's a whole nother topic that we can talk about. But what I really want to gauge from you is, let's say, going back to 2018, like you said, when you were like, you know what, I'm really going to take this seriously. We're
Yeah.
now 6 years on, looking back to that younger version of yourself. What is one piece of business advice in the music industry that you would give yourself or anyone starting out?
Learn the business game. That's the most important thing. Learn the business game. Number two, read contracts. It's very important to read anything and everything that you get yourself into. Get a lawyer to actually help you out. I mean, there's you guys. Please get a lawyer and like learn the business side, because 80%, like I said, is the business,
Mm.
and 20% is the talent. So it's very important to network as well. Network as many, like in many cases as you can. But then, sometimes, also believe in whatever it is that you believe in, and like I believe in God, and I believe, like, let God take over and let God do whatever it is that God needs to do, you know but all in all, just network, learn contracts, and learn the business. That's the most important thing.
I think you touched on a few good points, in that respect.
Yeah.
And, on that point of learning the business, it's kind of conflicting because artists always think, as an artist, I shouldn't really be concerned with the business because I'm an artist.
Yeah.
So, in the dance between those two, how have you been able to define what freedom means for you as an entertainer, as an artist, and still keeping that in line with understanding, hey, this is a business, but there's some sense of freedom. What does that look like? What does freedom look like for you?
Yeah, the freedom to actually be as versatile as possible, and for you to actually be like, okay, fine, if I want to do this, I can definitely do it. And you just being able to express yourself the way it is that you want to, without putting as much pressure on yourself, is very important, So I feel like it's very important to actually gauge in that freedom, because for me, that's like my term of freedom, and for me to just have fun in doing what it is that I do.
Yeah.
That's
And
the most important thing. To actually like make it serious, serious, serious all the time. I want to actually always have fun as much as I possibly can. So yeah.
I think that's the best outlook to have, not only in music and in business, just in life generally. Life has its
Yeah.
ebbs and flows, so try to have fun wherever you can. I call it, have your pockets of happiness, because you can't always be guaranteed happiness. So when you get those pockets of happiness, just keep them as much as you can.
Yep.
Um, so that's really good. What's something that you feel like you've had to learn, the hard way?
Oh, oh, there's so many things. One of them being, oh, I like to say it's nothing personal. It's business.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and at first I used to get touched when, for example, you get into studio and you record your verse, and they delete your verse, and
Mm,
they're like, "Yeah, bro, the suit the song it is that we're going for," and you kind of feel touched at the same time. But they always tell you, "Hey, it's nothing personal. It's just business." And again, having to learn that, sometimes whenever it is that you are using other people's resources, it's very important to know that the business is going to recoup what it is that you've used. And I
mm,
feel like as artists, we need to learn, we need to learn when the industry recoups everything that they have invested in you, and not be like, yeah, but I need that, what not, I deserve one three. It's like everything it is that the company has invested in you is going to be recouped.
yeah,
It's not personal, it's business. So that those are some of the things that I actually had to learn the hard way, and I'm still learning till today, because it's always like a learning process for me.
yeah.
So I'm just like, we learn every day. And yeah, I believe having a humbling heart, or a humbled heart, to actually be able to learn is very important. So never actually look at it like, okay, I'm being wronged here. It's just a thing where, just like a 9 to 5, when you're using the company's resources, they are actually gonna, there's gonna be deductions before the payment comes to you. So
Mm.
um one of the hardest things that I actually had to learn, and I'm still learning till today. So yeah, it's that's
That's
that's basically.
That's really insightful, because I think, on the topic of the business and the industry recouping what it's put into, I think a lot of artists or musicians generally misunderstand what an advance means. They're like, yeah, I'm going to be given all this money. It's like, actually, no, that's money that's coming back out of all the money that you're going to give them. And before you see a percentage of that money, you will have to give back that advance. And I think sometimes artists get blinded by seeing, large numbers on an advance, and then like, yeah, I'll take all this money, when sometimes it's better to take not that much money, because you know that this is money I'm eventually going to have to give back, that's going to come out of my pocket. So it's
Exactly.
really important for people just to know, yes, they might be offering me a lot, but then one, am I going to be able to, pay that back? Is my, catalog going to sell well? Does that mean I'm going to have to satisfy the requirement of putting out two valuable albums? Can I do that? How long will that be? So people
Yeah,
need to be aware of all these things. Just don't be blinded by the numbers, the big numbers, I think is
exactly.
what I tell people.
Exactly. So like it's very important to actually learn those type of small details, because like at the end of the day, like we need to actually learn these things so that we can be able to know what, like the discipline, like I said, the discipline and having to have, a humbling heart to actually learn these things. The business side is very
Yeah.
important. So, even when it doesn't even necessarily have to be like advances per se, it can even be having to record at somebody else's studio.
Yeah.
You know that, hey, you do know the copyrights kind of belong to that person because you
Hmm.
use, so until you have your own resources, you're still gonna actually just give like some of your rights for the songs away. And these are type of the things that we should know. And again, also having to use money very wisely. Again, like that's the most important thing. Use your money wisely, because the music thing is not forever. So have, whenever it is that you get whatever cents or whatever thousands that you do get, use it wisely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely.
I want to know if, beyond you being a musician in terms of vocally, do you write at all? Do you compose?
I do write. I'm a songwriter. I even, everything that I sing, I write.
Oh,
And
wow.
and I'm also venturing into writing for other artists as well now.
Nice.
So I'm actually like trying to expand my brand as much as I possibly could. I'm also keen on learning other skills as well in the entertainment industry. So I really just trying to broaden myself and trying to actually challenge myself a bit more. But yes, I do write my own music, and yeah, also venturing into writing for other artists as well. So yeah.
Following from that, what do you prefer? Do you prefer singing, parts of a song or lyrics that have been given to you, or lyrics that you've written? Do you feel like you have more of a closer, more intimate relationship and know how to sing the song and the mood that it deserves when you've been involved in the writing process? Or is it the same if you're not involved? It's just like it doesn't really matter. What do you prefer?
Um, I think for me, most of the time it's because I love writing for myself because of the mood at that particular point. So sometimes it's like I can sing what I feel. And so at the same time, if I need help from somebody else when it comes to writing, I can do that. And we can actually share ideas, but as long
Mhm.
as we're on the same page when it comes to what the expression is about when it comes to the song. So that is also like what it is that I like my writing process. And like with my brother Lisedi, with Lisedi we write a lot together. And Lisedi's like, hey, I have this brilliant idea. He can just wake up in the middle of AMs and he's like, bro, I got this crazy idea. This is what and what must happen. And he's like, bro, and I'm just like, bro, I'm sleeping. And he's, trust me, bro, this is gonna work. And we get there into studio and we do our thing, and it makes a lot of sense,
Yeah,
because here, when we together, Lisedi writes a lot more. But when I'm alone, I write a lot more.
yeah.
So kind of like a us helping each other sort of process, and I love it. I love it. I love it completely. So yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
Well, one of my final questions on a much lighter note, over the past 6 years, what would you say has been a career highlight for you? Something that you just look back and, or even not even look back, that you think of and just makes you really, really happy and gives you the energy to keep going?
Um, um, mm, um, there's um, there's a song that I did, and this song is in Tanzania, and
Mm-hmm.
I did it with
It's
Diamond
called
Platnumz. It's called Sasamba.
Sasamba, a Diamond Platnumz. I mean, he's a great artist. So shout out to you for even working with him.
Huge. So shout out for him to actually giving me, and shout out to actually Zombie as well. That's Diamond's producer. He's the one that actually like put me on. So shout outs to him. Shout out to Diamond. Shout out to actually even DJ Maphorisa and Tyler ICU for actually having to put me on Manzi Nte as well, which was also one of the biggest songs.
Wow, let's just like pause there, okay? Like that is what? That is a banger. That is a certified hit. I mean,
Thank
okay, subtle brag from you. Like, yeah, just they put me on this song. Yeah, just no, you can't move on from that. No.
Yeah, I just want to give them a shout out. Like at the end of the day, like shout outs to them for putting me on that song. I was somebody that was never known when I walked in that room, and that song kind of like made people to actually be like, who is this? You know, because it was kind of tricky for people to think that it was a girl on the song, and
At
they were like,
first, I did too. I did just because your range is crazy. Like your falsetto is better than most women's. Like, falsetto is one of the most difficult voices to sustain. Your
yeah,
head just it's so difficult to sustain it. You can go in and out of it, but
yeah,
for that to be your range, like not even many women sing in that tone. So yeah.
I get that a lot. They're like, dude, it's either are you a woman or are you an alien? AI, what's happening? And I'm just like, this is actually my natural voice.
Wow.
And I, I just sing. I'm passionate about it. I live music. I breathe music, and it's something that I do on a daily basis. So it's an everyday thing for me, and I appreciate everybody that's actually been supporting me so far, that has actually believed in me from day one, that still actually believe in me now. Even though I haven't put out music in a while, but they still are actually with me. And shout out to everybody, man. That's actually believing in me. So yeah.
What can we expect from you moving, let's say, in the next year or two? What kind of space are you in? Are you more in the background vocals? Are you working on your own stuff? Are you into more songwriting, production, or a bit of everything?
I'm gonna be a lot more. I'm gonna be a lot more. Releasing a bit more music from me. So people must expect a bit more music from me because I haven't released in a long time. So I have got people that I need to pay that are like, Silas, you need to release because we need something
Yeah.
from you. Like, like listen to my fans and be like, yo, I gotta give them something because I owe them so much. And I'm gonna be also, in the background as well, in terms of writing for people, in terms of actually even broadening my creativity as well as much as I can. So I'm gonna be doing a hell of a lot more things to actually like expand. So yeah, definitely people should expect like a little bit more music from me. So yeah.
That's great. Well, I'm looking forward to it. And thank you so much once again for giving up your time on a Monday evening. I know no one really wants to be talking at this time on a Monday. The week's just started. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so humbled. Thank you so much. I'm so honored. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much to everyone that's been supporting. Shout outs, and may people actually, keep supporting. And yeah, and thank you for the platform. And thank you so much, man. I'm honored.
No problem. Thank you.